Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to United View and welcome to the match preview for our trip to Villa Park. Man United taking on Aston Villa this Sunday, 4:30? 4:30 UK
I
time?
think I think
4
so. I
o'clock
think
kickoff,
so.
4:30?
I
Can't
think
remember.
I think it's 4:30 Super Sunday.
Super Sunday, mate.
4:30 indeed. Once again, us being broadcasted because hey, you
Yes.
can't have a broadcast without Manchester United.
Manchester, Manchester United.
But Flex, it's
Yes.
an interesting time, isn't it? It's an interesting time because yes, we drew against Bournemouth on Monday, 4-4, but it wasn't a loss. It's still one defeat in 10. It should be much more. We've had those games like against Bournemouth, like against West Ham. We go, how have we not got 3 points out of those games? But it's not a defeat. It's difficult to predict because Manchester United are consistently inconsistent. You would think that this would be a very challenging and difficult one for us. Aston Villa are in tremendous form. Were they third in the league? Had a really poor start to the season. Some questions about Unai, but then they've turned it around. They can't stop winning, even if it's a difficult
Can't
one.
stop.
Even if it's against top of the league, they get the job done at Villa Park. But this is the same Manchester United side that have a good record going to Villa Park in recent years. Despite how bad we've been, we've managed to go there and get results. And this is also a Manchester United where, on our day, we could do anything.
On our
could do
day.
anything. But
Yeah.
what is it going to be our day? That's the question. And we've got players missing, of course.
Yeah, I think, that's the bit to talk about next. I think, of course, we're missing our whole right-hand side, right? Or the very impactful side of it in terms of Mbumo. Listen, he wasn't great in the last game, but he still occupies defenders. He's still a nightmare to deal with. He just kept messing up his final action. But in terms of the running, the pace, the directness of what he gives you, couple that with Ahmad coming at you down that side as well, taking players on, making things happen. We literally do not have that. We literally do not have that. And it's how we deal with it, right? And what's interesting is the shape. That what we saw against Bournemouth, that hybrid 4-4-2,
Was it a soft launch?
4-2-4.
Was it a
Soft launch, man. Soft launch because, and I think we're going to find out whether it was or whether it wasn't. Because if it was a soft launch, it's still quite interesting to see who's going to play and where. Because essentially, Lenny Yoro was kind of a right back, and Ahmad was basically right wing, but in times still dropping into wing back position, but kind of still a right winger. Does he to stick with that at Villa Park when Lenny Yoro's not playing the best? I don't know. I think you probably put Dallo there now.
Wow.
And does Leacher come in? Does Leacher get a game now? And maybe Luke Shaw can go left back for this game? I don't know.
Well, the reason I say soft launch is because obviously, like you said, we saw it as a hybrid thing in the sense that on paper, and it was still like, three at the back with the wing backs. And then, as you mentioned, out of possession at different points, it would change. It would look like a back four, and it would look for. This is when you get into what you talk about, because like you remember you said a 4-4-2, and then people were like, we didn't play 4-4-2. It was when it was 4-4-3. No one.
Yeah.
It's difficult to tell. But there have been a lot of reports, haven't there, saying, well, it was really from this game that it was going to be much more blatant, a possible back four, a possible 4-3-3, or like you said, 4-4-2. So this is really the one where we'll see if
what
he is
system.
Gonna,
what will we do?
Is he going to really divert from it and just be like, all right, we're playing 4-3-3, or is he going to stick with the sort of hybridish kind of thing? And that's why it's difficult to select the team based around that, isn't it? I mean,
because he's missing 4 guys that he probably would play. Well, I know. Well, we're missing De Ligt and Maguire as well, who are guys he potentially would be playing
instead
of heaven.
One's going on for a while, by the way.
Yeah, that's gone under the radar. Well, so I think Maguire's been longer than that. Maguire ain't played since Liverpool. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, when the De Ligt one happened, it was don't worry, it's a minor one.
Yeah,
we'll be back with them the next game.
Minor. It's been 3 weeks now.
Yeah, it's been a while, and the pushback to the whole 4-3-3 or 4-4-2 thing or whatever has been, well, okay, I get that we would maybe do a change because AFCON's around the corner, but also like, do we even have the wingers to do a 4-3-3?
Well, with what we've got, you would say the only width we've got is Cunha and Mount.
it's probably easier to stick with what he has been doing.
Yeah, weirdly, in the absence of those guys, it's better to play the same system.
Yeah,
Really.
because your back three, you look up Yoro, Heaven, and Shaw. Your midfield is as is. It's Bruno and it's Casemiro. Your
Oh, no, it's not
tens
Casemiro. He's out.
Oh, not Casemiro, excuse me. So maybe, Kobe or
Maybe
Ugarte.
Kobe.
We'll see.
Mm.
Your tens are Acuna and Mount. And then this is where Xerxes maybe comes in or Sheshko comes in, and that depends where Cunha's going to start. But that's easier to think about on paper than
the 4-3-3,
yeah. Because who would play where, really?
If it was 4-3-3, you don't trust him and it will hurt our eyes, but you've got to go Dalot Dorgu at fullback. You have to. You have to. And then you go Luke Shaw and Yoro in the middle, or Luke Shaw and Heaven. And then the midfield, you go Bruno, Kobe.
Could be Ugarte, probably.
Bruno, Kobe, you got to play all three, then he's got nothing from the bench. No midfield.
Well, the reason I say that, because I know you're maybe thinking like Mason Mount or someone like that, but
yeah,
the thing with that is that Mason Mount has played wide right before in his career. He did it under
he can play there
quite a bit.
He can play wide right or left.
But I still look at that and let's say it's 4-3-3. I just look at let's say your wingers are Mount and Cunha. I look at them and I go, not really wingers, are they?
Yeah,
they'll still end up doing what they would do in the
they'll
other
invert,
which is go in the middle. So
they'll be inside tens. Yeah,
you might as well play them as tens, then, mightn't you?
But you can still play. You can still play them as inside tens and still have a back four, though.
Yeah,
you can play 4-3-3 with 2 tens,
and you just have the extra body midfield. But then that would, and that's why you can't play Luke Shaw. Then certainly can't play him left back, because you're still basically saying to the fullbacks, get up and down as much as possible. And Ruben Amorim's already on record going, Shaw can't really do that anymore. The reason we've got longevity out of him this season
is because he's not doing that. And let's talk about Villa a little bit. Like this, as much as we've got a good record there, and this, that, and the other, they're bang at it. Now, listen, I was saying on the other day, like they're not, or was it here? They're not like, it's not prime Barcelona. Against West Ham in the last game, they had to activate. Like it was close. They were behind twice, and they got back in front. And then moments of magic. Against Wolves, they won 1-0. Kamara, a bit of magic. Against Arsenal, I know Arsenal are a very good team, but they started really well. Then they dropped off. Arsenal got back into it. Then Arsenal were on top, and then they scored with the last kick of the game. So they concede goals. It's not like it's a total shutout. They're really dominant throughout. You don't get a sniff. It's not that. It's just that they're really dogged. They don't. Amorim spoke about it. He said they control their emotions. They find a way. They don't get too low when they concede. They don't get too high when they score. They got an amazing manager in Unai Emery. So they're in check of all these things. And then the confidence kicks through. So even if you are in a good moment, you could be in a false sense of security because they can activate. And then vice versa. If they're doing well, it doesn't mean you're out of the game. They'll give you chances. Like I said, that Wolves game, and I keep going back to it of saying like Wolves are weird because they got 2 points on the board. But like, they're all right in the games, and they should have got something out of that game. They got a goal disallowed. They played well
against Arsenal, didn't they?
Showed against Arsenal. So like you can give if you're set up right. Just because we're missing these guys, and like you said, Arsenal at the Emirates, Wolves put in a good performance. It's a good way to talk about it. Just because you may be missing some stuff or it's going against you, you can compete. We've still got players there. We shouldn't be going there too defeatist. And I know it's pray for us, and I have said that, pray for us at Villa Park and all of that stuff, because essentially, if you was a neutral, you'd be like, Villa have won like the last 7 in a row, mate. Like, they'd definitely beat Man United on the road. But, we got a decent record against them, and, we probably ain't going to keep a clean sheet, that's for sure. Well, we won't keep a clean sheet. I can't see that happening. But yeah, we just got to start staying in the game and just have a good performance. That's all I'm looking for, because I know we can lose this game.
This Man United side, which we're saying that this Man United side is better than last season's one, was able to beat Aston Villa at the end of the season, and
but they were pricks for that. They were pricks.
But you get my
pressure
point.
was off.
Even that day, they could have gone differently with the decision and all that kind of stuff. We were the better team, but it does go to show that, again, you never know. Like you never know. Like,
and we got a draw at their place, 0-0, isn't it?
You know what you're going to get with Aston Villa. They're really super intense, really quick on the transition, which is scary. Yeah. We'll most likely concede, because we always do. Yeah, that's why even when we went 4-3 up, the first thing I said in that game on the match, I went, it's not over, because we concede goals. You know what I mean? That's what. So I would be pretty safe to say we probably will concede, but we do score goals. And that's why it's really difficult to predict, because we score, but we concede.
But I just think
who knows?
this one's a step too far with the players missing. We score a lot of goals, but that's with Ahmad and Mbumo just giving so much down that side. We've literally taken it all off. I will be like pleasantly surprised, stunned if like we're still as productive. I will be like, we're still getting shots, and it is a funny game. It is, but if I saw us struggling a bit under the caution, no outlet, and you know, you got to expect some sort of drop off with the two players we're losing. But there's players coming in, they've got a chance in it. They got, you know, if Xerxes comes in some way, if Shesko gets his first start, or you know, Cunha, you really need him to take that mantelpiece now in transitions. So important. Let's not act like we ain't spent £2.5 million on him. He's there. That's what he's there for. Same with Mason Mount. Spent 60 odd million quid on him. So we've got £220 million players to demand some stuff from, which is not bad.
Yeah.
So.
And look, when we said that before the Selhurst Park game, didn't we? Or we said it before we went to Anfield. They go, no, we're not going to get anything out of this one. And granted, you know, we didn't have the same players missing. I'm with you on there, but I'm just with this team. I really am just like, we don't know. We particularly recently, we're winning games we're not meant to be winning. We're then losing games or drawing games or throwing games away that we should be winning. Who knows? I mean, we've just come through a patch of games that was meant to be our easiest fixtures of the season, and we ended up sort of winning the hard ones and screwing up in the easier ones. So I don't know. You know, I don't know. Away from home, that's also the concern, because our record away from home it's not great. It's not great.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's lock in the predictions as well. Owen, what are you going for?
Oh, goodness gracious. I'm gonna go with another Desmond. It's gonna be a 2-2.
Yeah. Oh, mate. I'm not feeling this one, Owen. I'm not feeling this one at all.
Well, maybe that's a good thing.
But I think we can get a draw at max. I'll say that. I'll just say that. I'm really fearing this game. I don't know. I'm really nervous about this game.
I'll be there to
I'll go for a draw.
When you have your meltdowns on the match. I'll be there. I'll be there being like.
And I won't listen to you. I won't listen.
No.
But it's nice that you're consistent, and I'm consistent.
Yeah, I'll try.
You know.
Wow.
Let us know. We tried to predict the team. We couldn't really do it. We tried to predict the formation. We couldn't really do it. We've tried to predict the result. Couldn't really do it. So if you can do any of those things, do it in the comments below. Whilst you're doing that, drop a like on the video as well, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. We will see you on the match view, hopefully in a calm, mature, measured manner. That's what we're looking for on the match view. Yeah, you got to set your stalls out for what you want. Yeah. All right, guys, we're out of here. Take care. Peace.